Alright, so finding limits graphically and numerically. We could just basically sit there and just think about it all day. Okay, graphically and numerically is just taking a look at the table as we go. So let's take a look at one. Let's go x squared. Let's go minus 4 divided by x plus 2. Okay. Alright, so let's say we were trying to look for the limit as x approaches -2. Okay, so graphically we would just go to the graph and just go, okay, it seems to be approaching, let me see, as we get closer to -2 as x is a value, we seem to be approaching -4. Okay, but if I get there exactly, I'm going to get undefined, which is a whole, which should be expected because this is a rational function. Now if I approach from the left side, from the right side, I'm going to get the same thing. I'm approaching -4 coming up, you know. So those are just some things to look at that type of problem in a different sense. Now numerically, we can do the same exact thing except with a table. So we would just approach it. So we would approach -2 from the top, so we would get -3 and just get it right there. Okay, and then we could get really close, so -2.1 or -2.11, or I'm sorry, 0.1, that's not getting closer. Okay, or -2.001. Okay, and that you could see that we're getting really close to -4. Okay, whereas right here, if we get really close to -2 from the other direction, which is -1.9, okay, and then we go for an even closer number, -1.99. Okay, as you can see, the more numbers I put in that are close to -2 from the right side, or from the right side, yeah, I'm going to get numbers that are really close. I'm going to get values that are going to be really close to -4. So on this type of problem, I would say the limit as x approaches -2, and then right here is x squared. Here's our actual function. Okay, and then right down here we would have x plus 2. Okay, now if we tried to plug in that -2, we would get an indeterminate response, but looking at it graphically and on a table, we can find out that the limit is actually going to be -4. Okay, now we can't say the value of this function at -2 is -4, but we can say the limit, which means we're approaching really closely from both sides of -2 for x, that we're approaching the value of -4. Okay, so we're going to go more in depth into limits in a second.